Damn it, I got small screen again. Fuck. Hello, Jacksonites, and welcome to, let's see, what is this? Episode 7 of Halloween month. And today we will be talking about another really contentious installment in the Halloween franchise. One that many people hate on viciously. And while I do agree with some of the criticisms, I kind of like it. Today we will be talking about, once again, I don't have the disc. That's also on the other side of the two or three movie disc set that I bought that has H2O, Curse of Michael Myers, and Ressurection on it. Today we'll be talking about 2002's Halloween Ressurection. Damn, that's a cliche title. And joining me today is, of course, fellow Halloween fan, and his reaction to when I said my least favorite Halloween movie is the original cracked me the fuck up. Sean from JTISREBORN. Make yourself known. Wait.
Halloween Ressurection.
Say that again. I accidentally had you on mute still.
You had me on mute. Motherfucker. What's going on, everybody? Daddy's back, ready to talk some Halloween. Oh, man. It's kind of funny that we're reviewing Ressurection right now because I'm dead in the middle of writing my Halloween Ressurection review. And then I got to write Rob Zombie's Halloween. I got to write Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And they're supposed to come out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. That's going to be a nightmare. Writing one review is fine, but writing 3 in a row. Oof. But yes, we are here to talk about Halloween Ressurection. I can go into more detail here, which is cool. So in a way, I'm getting all my thoughts out without having to go through all the work of writing it. But, oh boy, Halloween Ressurection. The original ending to the Halloween franchise.
No, technically, it was supposed to be part 7, but
no.
H2O made a lot of money, so they cranked out one more sequel.
Well, the thing with that was with Ressurection, they shot the scene.
Hang on, there is also another reason why Ressurection was made, and I'll get to that momentarily. But see, I'll put you on mute again. Anyway, so yes, indeed, Halloween Ressurection is a very, very hated on installment in the Halloween series.
I'd still rather watch it than 6 and 5.
Me too. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Many people say that this is the worst of the franchise, including Eric, my good friend Eric Harrison. He says that Ressurection is the worst of the franchise. I agree with a lot of the criticisms towards this film. And I do it on a technical scale. It is probably one of the weaker installments of the Halloween series. However, me being the way that I am, of course I like this movie more than most people do.
Of course you do.
But do I think that it's a bad movie? In some ways, yes. Is it one of the worst slasher movies ever made? No, I sat through the original Halloween. And watching Sean's face right now is just hysterical. Almost as funny. Almost as funny as the look he gave me when I said Tim Curry is a bad actor.
You motherfucker.
Hey, you sweetheart.
God, you should have said that. Like, even Big Jack Jones was praising Tim Curry. I even called you out on the stream. I'm like, Nick Jackson hates Tim Curry. And he said, like, well, we're not all perfect or something.
What video was that?
That was his most recent live stream. Like, he was talking about Tim Curry in some way. I don't know what brought it up. I'm like, Nick Jackson hates Tim Curry.
I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for that stream.
I was kind of hoping you would show up at some point.
I was at work.
Yes, work.
But I'm sorry,
fun to
Tim
practice
Curry
it.
is not a good actor. He's a horrible actor. And he's an ugly
Curry
son
is
of a
a
bitch.
god. Tim Curry is the man.
He's an
Always
ugly
being
son of a
entertaining.
bitch.
Whatever his looks like, he's fucking talented, okay?
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No. Oh,
I'm
boy, I'm sorry.
Sir, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. All right.
So, yeah, Resurrection. I actually do like Resurrection. I think it's a very, well, not a very underrated installment, but I do think it is somewhat underrated. So what's your personal history with Resurrection, Shawnee boy?
Well, my personal history with Halloween Resurrection kind of goes like this. Very young. I think I was at my friend's house, and they rented Halloween Resurrection. There was a bunch of us there. This was when I was like, shoot, it had to be like, this was 2003, so I was still pretty young at that time. And so we all sat down, we watched Halloween Resurrection. Now, we were fans of the Halloween movies, but like I hadn't seen, like, I didn't know that Halloween 4, 5, and that didn't exist. I thought it was just Halloween 1, 2, and then like I saw ads for Resurrection. I thought that was that, or I thought maybe there was a Halloween 3, and then this one. So I watched this one, and I saw Laurie died, and I was like, oh, that really sucks. I'm like, what? Like, so I was kind of confused as to what was going on because I didn't know H2O existed. I think H2O might have been the last one I saw of the original series, but I can't be too certain, you know. Or no, the producer's cut of 6 was the last one I saw of the original series, which, you know, still doesn't make a difference. It still sucks. But yeah, so I saw this one on VHS, and us being kids, like I kind of liked it back then because, you know, I liked a lot of trash. We my friends, we all love Busta Rhymes. We would sometimes, like, you know how sometimes kids would play as like the characters in the movies. It was like, okay, I'll be Busta Rhymes, you be Deckard, or you be Michael Myers, or something like that. We would just kind of goof around. But yeah, so I watched this on VHS. So I am kind of nostalgic for this movie and this time period. I mean, fucking A, they referenced the Osbournes. Like, we're gonna be bigger than the Osbournes. Like, yo, you're meeting girls in Yahoo chat rooms. They're like, oh my god, this brings me back. And then back to that like phase of the early 2000s where it's just like, you know, the reality video craze. Like before the second phase of found footage movie, like Blair Witch was pretty big at the time. So they're trying.
Yeah, we'll touch upon that later.
We will, but I am very nostalgic for this time period. And hello, Grimacing Gojira. 'Tis the season to be spooky. Happy October. That's right, sir. That is right.
I like that.
But I am nostalgic for this movie. It's not a good movie. But it is a guilty pleasure for me. And I'm gonna bring this up when you see my review. Like I'm gonna definitely shit on it, but I will talk about what I do love about this movie. Specifically one factor. And
we'll get on him later.
We will.
Alrighty, so my own personal history with Resurrection. Tim Curry's not a good actor.
Fuck you. I might just do Tim Curry voices. As I've said
multiple times throughout Halloween month, I watch. Huh?
But as you said multiple times throughout Halloween month, Tim Curry is great.
No, I'll never say that.
Never say what?
Anyway, fuck. As I've said many times throughout Halloween month, I watched a lot of Halloween movies on YouTube. Actually, I think at some point I've seen every single Halloween movie on YouTube. And Resurrection was one of the first. And when I didn't watch the movie in full. I watched the last 40 minutes or so. And to be 100% honest, I remember really enjoying this movie when I watched it for the first time. I thought it was decently tense. It was decently suspenseful. It had pretty good kills. It was actually in some ways kind of freaky. So I remember really enjoying Resurrection. Then I didn't see it again for a long time until I bought Resurrection from a flea market for like $3.
$3. $3 a good deal.
Yeah, and I took it home, much to my mom's chagrin, because she hates horror movies. And I watched the movie, and once again, I found myself really enjoying the film. I actually thought I hadn't seen the whole series, but actually no. Technically I had, but I didn't own the whole series. I actually owned like 2 or 3 of the Halloween movies, and that's about it. So, I remember really enjoying Resurrection for a long time. Then it just kind of escaped me, and then I fell into the crowd of saying, yeah, Resurrection's pretty bad. It's one of the worst of the series. And then, I guess you could kind of say I had my personality change at around 2016. And I started rethinking. Actually, I actually need to do a video on that. But with my new way of thinking towards films, I gave Resurrection another shot, and I just embraced how much I enjoyed this movie. How much it made me think of, wow, I really like this movie. Why do people hate this again? And then when I started getting into YouTube and I started becoming a film critic, then I started to look more into why this movie is hated upon. And then I started to notice, okay, yeah, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. That really doesn't work. And I started to see the flaws. But despite this movie's flaws, I still do enjoy this movie, which is why I do say I think Halloween Resurrection is an underrated installment. Not super underrated, mind you, because it does have a lot of problems.
Oh, yes.
But compared to parts 5 and 6, and especially the original, I think this movie is pretty damn good.
Compared to 5 and 6?
No, especially compared to 1.
What's the matter? Store wouldn't take your stolen credit card.
Let's see what the police have to say about this.
Oh, look at that. You know the Tim Curry line.
It's probably the only movie that I quasi-tolerate Tim Curry is Home Alone 2.
Not true, sir. You've gone on record, I believe, to say you...
Oh, yeah, Muppets Treasure Island, too. Okay, I quasi-tolerate him in Home Alone 2. I semi-tolerate him in Muppets Treasure Island.
Well, it's not completely. You...
Only because the movies around Tim Curry are fucking hysterical.
He's hysterical in Home Alone 2. Like, the scene where he has to go in to the room.
Get out of here, you nosy little pervert! I'm gonna slap you silly. Anyway, so moving on, back to Halloween Resurrection. So with all that being said, and with the stupid, pointless Tim Curry references that I only use to piss off Sean, let's get into the plot. Actually, no. So a little bit of production history for Resurrection.
These greedy bastards.
So Halloween H2O was where Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to end the series. In many aspects, I do agree. Yeah, that's probably where you should have left it. And actually, that's why Eric Harrison hates this movie, is because it ruins the ending to H2O, which it does. I do agree. It's kind of like the Kong 76 and King Kong Lives of slasher films. Of course, H2O being Kong 76 and Resurrection being King Kong Lives. But so the writers of H2O were left with a dilemma when Jamie Lee Curtis, she wanted the series to end with H2O. However, here's the catch. Mustafa Akkad had a clause that legally would not allow the writers to kill Michael Myers off.
God damn it.
Kind of like Toho's clause for Legendary, they're legally bound to not kill Godzilla, which I support. Mm-hmm. However, according to the Blu-ray that was released by Scream Factory, Jamie Lee Curtis almost left the project just weeks before shooting, until Kevin Williamson, who I think was one of the writers. Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wrote Scream.
came up with... Oh, that explains a lot. He came up with the paramedic storyline that's used in this movie and presented it to Akkad. Curtis finally agreed to be a part of this film under the condition that no footage hinting towards a sequel will be presented by the film, and the audience wouldn't believe that Michael was dead until the inevitable sequel was announced. Kind of a smart woman, don't you think? Resurrection's... What?
Yeah, she definitely like knew what she was doing with the franchise there. She was just like, look, let's end it here. It is a very... H2O has a... I didn't get the chance to catch your video because I was busy. H2O has a very satisfying ending. Laurie finally wins. She cuts his head off, and it ends there. Like, that's the perfect way to end. If they did that, went right into the remake, we'd be pretty good. Although, maybe Resurrection is a blessing in disguise now that I think about it, because we're getting the new Halloween movie because of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have done the new film if H2O ended right.
Maybe. Who knows? Though, of course... With this movie being made, despite receiving heavy criticism, and also despite being somewhat of a box office success, more sequels were planned to follow Resurrection. But 5 years later, the series was rebooted with Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then the rest is history leading up to Halloween 2018.
Can I say one thing about that? I remember, because there was a website, this is like the pre-YouTube days, there was like the HalloweenMovies.com. I used to go to it back in, early 2000s after this movie came out, probably like 2004, 2005, before Rob Zombie was announced. They had a contest where you could enter in. You could become like a character in like the new Halloween movie, which is supposed to be Halloween 9. It's supposed to be a sequel, not the Rob Zombie film. And basically, people would send like these crazy little audition tapes. They'd play them on the site. It was pretty fun to watch. They had like, obviously that older bandwidth. Windows Media Player was very different back then. I still have my computer from the early 2000s, so it still plays videos like that. But it was kind of fun going back and watching some of that old stuff. But yeah, so they would have like this little contest. And I remember a girl won it. Her name was Heather. I forget her last name. But anyway, she won it. I don't know if she ever got to go into the movie, but I remember them having a contest saying they were doing Halloween 9. So, but obviously Zombie came in, did his thing, which means that Resurrection still should not have existed.
In many ways, you're right, yes. So with all that being said, let's get into the plot of Halloween Resurrection.
Oh, no, not this beginning. I can't.
Yeah, I agree. On October 31st, 1998, it turns out Laurie Strode killed a paramedic with whom her brother, Michael Myers, of course, had swapped clothes with. And they explain in a flashback that Michael Myers had swapped clothes with the medic and grabbed his throat and crushed his larynx, preventing him from speaking, put on his mask on the paramedic, took his clothes, and escaped.
Yeah, why wouldn't the paramedic take off the fucking mask, though? Like, why?
Yeah, maybe he didn't. Oh, wait, no. He had to have realized that the thing was on him because he felt it, but whatever. The guilt-ridden Laurie is now an inmate at the Grace Anderson Sanitarium, where the nurses there believe her to be catatonic. However, she is actually instead preparing for Michael's return. And on October 31st, 2001, Laurie, pretending to be heavily medicated... Wait, hang on, no. Yeah. Prepares herself for the inevitable confrontation with her brother. Michael breaches the facility and ends up fucking slaughtering 2 security guards, decapitating one and slitting the throat of the other, and then he proceeds on his way to Laurie. And after a brief chase, Laurie lures Michael onto the rooftop. He falls for a trap, and Laurie is about to cut the rope so he can fall to his death, which isn't very good death, but whatever. However, her fears of once again killing the wrong person get the better of her, and when she tries to remove Michael's mask to actually see his face, though, how the hell would she know what he looks like?
She did see his face in the original Halloween.
Okay, that's true, yeah. Michael's...
Even then, it's been years.
Yeah, still. 22 years, yeah. No, 23 years. Michael stabs her and throws her off of the roof to her death.
Oh, fucking A. Fucking A. God damn it. This fucking... I do go on a little rant in my review I'm working on, but...
His life mission finally complete after 23 years of tracking Lori down. Michael returns home to his abandoned childhood house for some reason. The following year, college students Bill Woodlake, Donna Chang, Jen Danzig, Jim Morgan, Rudy Grimes, and Sarah Moyer win a competition to appear on an internet reality show called Dangertainment. With directed by Freddie Harris, played by the hilariously awesome Busta Rhymes. And his friend Nora Winston, played by Tyra Banks, in which they have to spend a night in Michael's home in order to figure out what led him to kill. And on Halloween, equipped with head cameras as well as the cameras that are set up all throughout the house, they search throughout the house and split into 3 separate groups. Sarah's messaging friend Deckard watches the broadcast during a Halloween party that he's attending. And meanwhile, Michael Myers, the real Michael Myers, suddenly appears, stabs Bill in the head, and kills the cameraman, Charlie. Actually, he kills Charlie first, then stabs Bill in the head. Whatever.
Moron, Charlie. Can we just talk about Charlie for about 2 seconds?
No.
What a fucking idiot. He doesn't even try to move. He's like, oh yeah, just penetrate me with your sword, Michael. Or your camera.
With his metal rod. Donna and I wish I could cue up the music cue from Brendan Tenold's Gamma vs. Gauss review. So Donna and Jim start trying to fuck in the basement. However, a wall filled with corpses collapses and falls in on them. However, Jim quickly realizes that these corpses are fake, made in fucking Taiwan. And this show actually is a setup, like all reality shows nowadays.
Yeah, this is the start of that reality show phase.
Yeah. Jim leaves, but
bigger than the Osbournes.
Donna then notices a tunnel that's behind this fallen wall, and Michael ends up chasing her through the tunnels before impaling her on a spike on the wall. And at the party, Deckard and other partygoers witness this murder, and Deckard realizes that the murder was real, but the others believe that it's just an act. Freddy goes through the house dressed up as Michael. However, he's secretly followed by the real Michael, and Freddy, mistaking Michael for Charlie, tells him to go to the garage to help Nora out, which after an extremely fucking funny interaction between Freddy and Michael, he does go to the garage and, of course, kills Nora, which we see later in the film. And when Rudy...
No, we see that she's dead, but we don't get the honor of watching Michael Myers systematically murder Tyra Banks. Like, why is that not in your movie?
I don't care. It doesn't bug me. So when Rudy, Sarah, and Jim find Freddy wearing the Myers costume, he reveals the scheme and begs them to cooperate, telling them that he set up a nice payday for all of them. However, when he leaves, the trio decides to gather up the other 3 and leave. But before they can, Jen discovers the body of Bill and gets fucking decapitated by Michael Myers right in front of Rudy, Sarah, and Jim. Rudy and Sarah flee, but Jim stays to try to fend off Myers, only to have his head crushed. Michael kills Rudy by pinning him to a door with kitchen knives before fucking impaling him with a giant butcher's knife before chasing Sarah upstairs. Locking herself in a bedroom, Sarah begs for Deckard to help her, but the other partygoers realize that the deaths have not been staged and with Deckard messaging her Myers' location, Sarah escapes and is found by Freddy. This is when the movie, in my opinion, gets really good. It was already really good beforehand, but this is when it gets really, really good. Myers finds and attacks him. Freddy is injured, but not before we get a fucking hysterical little fight between Busta Rhymes and Michael with his extremely over-the-top Bruce Lee kung fu yells. Why? Ow. Oh my god, it's funny.
That's going to be my review where I think Busta Rhymes. God damn it.
God damn, is it funny?
Because he's like, get his ass, get his ass, get his ass.
Who better than White Chun-Li? Whooping everybody's ass while he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I think there was like the Taoism drunkard or whatever that they were watching.
So anyway, Freddy ends up getting injured, and Sarah makes her way to the tunnels. She finds an exit that's near Donna's body and emerges into the garage where she finds the body of Tyra Banks. But Myers also finds her and starts an electrical fire in the garage. After Sarah tries to kill him with a chainsaw, which also kind of brings to mind TCM, that piece of garbage. Freddy returns and then begins fighting Michael Myers hand-to-hand once again. But he's over... Motherfucker! Freddy instead electrocutes Myers and tangles him up in electrical wiring, which is the very first time we've ever heard Michael Myers make some kind of vocalization. He just goes, when he's electrocuted in the balls, he just goes, ooh. So then Freddy carries Sarah out of the burning garage. The Myers house burns to the ground, and as Sarah thanks Deckard for saving her life,
thank you, Deckard.
Sarah and Freddy turn away the news and then look at Myers' crisp body. But Michael's body is taken to the morgue, but as the chief medical examiner begins to examine Michael's body, he awakens once again, leaving us on another bullshit cliffhanger ending.
That was never, ever followed up on and never will.
I'm going to make it my mission. I swear to God, if I ever get into the movie business, I'm going to make it one of my life's missions to actually make a trilogy of sequels to Halloween Resurrection.
You know what? I always had a great idea to follow up Resurrection.
Have a crossover with Tim Curry?
You know, Tim Curry, well, he's kind of old now, but in his prime, yeah. And he had a stroke, so he's kind of like, he can't really do much. But, yeah. But yes, I always had what I thought would be a pretty cool idea to continue off Resurrection, but I was always bummed that they just went straight to the remake because I wanted to follow up to this movie when I was younger. I'm like, even now, like until Jamie Lee Curtis got
keep talking for a little bit. I gotta go get another soda.
All right, you go get that soda so you can belch some more on camera. See, there he goes. There he goes. All right, everyone. Daddy's home, cake every night. Yeah. So Halloween Resurrection. Fuck this ending. I can't stand cliffhanger endings unless you know for certain, 100% guarantee that you are going to follow up on it. Like unless you have the movie like ready to make, it's ready to film, guaranteed, it's going to happen no matter what. Then just don't do them. Don't fucking do your goddamn cliffhanger endings because they just piss you off. They piss me off because what if we never get a follow-up on it? You leave it open-ended, your story's not wrapped up, and you just do the same shit because you're just going to do an endless amount of sequels. When does the end actually come? When does the point come where you're just like, you know what? I think I'm done. I think we've wrapped up our storyline. We're good. This movie's ending is so unsatisfying. It's lazy. You feel nothing. It's horseshit. It really is horseshit. There's nothing good about this ending. The only entertaining factor is fucking Busta Rhymes. And Busta Rhymes just coming in there just like,
okay, I'm back.
Why? Busta Rhymes coming in there like trick-or-treat motherfucker and just doing this shit. It's hilarious. In fact, there's a video on YouTube which I will include this part.
I also come bringing food.
Yes, when Monday comes around. Ooh, is that a Camel's Hump?
Huh?
Camel's Hump?
No, it's Cream of Sun Young Guy.
See, you're a Wayne's World fan.
Of course I'm a Wayne's World fan. Come on now.
Hey, you're so against the grain in a lot of things. I had to be sure.
We need to go. I actually need to make a video naming off all the mainstream shit that I don't like.
That way I know for sure. That's the thing. I'm like, I can't be certain anymore. I'm like, does he like this? Does he dislike it?
Actually, next time you and I talk, take me on a tour of your movie collection and see. And I'll say, like it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, love it, hate it, like it, kind of like it, love it, hate it, hate it, hate it.
Well, you still want to see my full movie collection. I still have a bunch of movies up north at the cottage, but there's just, I have too many. I've run out of shelf space. I have no more space left at all.
So with this story out of the way, what do I think of this story? Well, it's very clear that it's a hybrid of three things: a Halloween sequel, a Blair Witch Project ripoff, and a Scream ripoff. Is that a bad thing? Partially, yes, but it's also partially a good thing. It gives this movie its own identity in my eyes. So with that being said, how many pros do you have?
I think, you know what? I'm going to give maybe 2, possibly 3 pros. Pro number 1, the kills. Some of the kills are, violent and grotesque. I like that. The decapitation one is the highlight. Pro number 2 is Michael Myers himself. The new mask is very imposing.
You need to go into a little more depth.
Oh, like the kills or like the mask?
Just in general on the good things you have to say about this.
Oh, because you want to take some time eating. Got it. Okay, I understand. Pros, the kills for the most part are fairly decent, pretty good. Some of them are off screen, particularly the first 2 security guards. You don't really see, like, you hear that one.
No, the first security guard, you don't see him get decapitated, though. You do see the second one get his throat slit.
Yeah, you see his throat get split. After that, there's just kind of just like the typical face grabs, just, skull crushing, pushed onto things. The decapitation one is by far the best one because I think that's the only time Michael Myers decapitates someone, just with one clean swoop.
Well, you could also kind of say in part 6, near the beginning, when he grabs that trucker's head and just rips it clean off. He doesn't rip it off, but he rips it
around.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, as many times as I see part 6, I completely forget about it when I'm done. That's just how bad part 6 is. Part 6 is the worst in this whole series. I will openly admit 6 and 5 are my least favorites. So those are some of the pros or some of the kills. Another pro is Michael Myers himself. Michael is mean and imposing. Like, when I think the most intimidating Michael Myers in the original series, I go with Halloween Resurrection. The mask is very menacing compared to, like, H2O, where it's just like, I'm not really imposed by this guy. You look at that mask in Resurrection, you see that you're kind of scared shitless a little bit, like young me was, like, oh shit, it's Michael Myers. He is unfucking stoppable in this thing. Like, you can't beat him. He can get stabbed, he can get shot, he can get electrocuted, he can get his balls blasted, set on fire. It's not gonna fucking work. I don't know where he gets his super strength from. Maybe he took the Captain America super soldier serum he was experimented on in Spitz Grove. At least that would explain some of his super strength. Who knows? Who fucking knows? The last con and the main reason to watch this movie.
You mean pro?
What?
You mean pro? You said con.
Oh. Yeah, never mind. The last pro to watch this movie. The number one reason, the most redeeming quality of Halloween Resurrection, the main reason I keep coming back to it above all things. Well, I guess another pro would be I'm kind of nostalgic for some of the goofy to make fun of it, but that's more of a con. but like so bad it's good. Elements like the references that date the movie, I kind of laugh at.
Oh my God, is this movie dated?
Oh, it's dated. It's very, very dated.
It drips of. References. It fucking drips of early 2000s pop culture. Almost
when
painfully
I heard the
so.
About the Osbournes, like I was laughing my head off. Like the Osbournes joke was fucking hilarious. Where it's just like, we can be bigger than the Osbournes.
No, you mean Ozzy Osbourne, right?
No, the Osbournes TV show.
Oh.
You remember that?
No. I thought they meant the Ozzy, like Ozzy Osbourne. I thought they meant him.
It is him. Like he is. It was his show. It was about him and his family.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah. So you were right in that. But like it was like the whole family. It was like even if you watch like Austin Powers and Goldmember, it's like the Osbourne show was like, boobs, Ozzy. It was a show about them. See, that's how dated this is. But Austin Powers intentionally set itself in 2002 for a reason. So, like, that's the timeline. So that at least makes sense why that stuff would be there. But at least it still holds up more. But this fucking some of the data references, the Yahoo chat rooms, the internet connections. I'm like, okay, for one thing, your internet connection would not be able to sustain this that well. I know how dial-up was back then.
It was shit.
Super laggy. It was shit and super laggy. I'm like, who the fuck is be able to like you fucking slob. Yeah, so some of that data stuff kind of cracks me up. But the most important thing to watch this movie, the main pro above all pros, Busta Rhymes as Freddie Harris. Now I know some fans who try to take this seriously don't necessarily like Freddie. To which I say,
I get it.
They're like, oh, I get it. They say it takes away from the dignity from the franchise. To which I say,
I get it.
Seen a lot of the sequels,
but yeah, have you seen parts 4 and 5?
No, 5 and 6. Because you like 4.
4 and 6, yeah. Excuse me, yeah.
5 and 6. You said 4 again.
Have you seen parts 5 and 6?
Yep.
It's kind of funny. A lot of people say that the acting, the writing, and the dialogue is really cringeworthy in the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. Here's the thing, too, though. Have you seen any of the other sequels? Because those same criticisms are there, too.
Mm-hmm. It's like when people criticize the Rush Hour movies with Chris Tucker, they find him annoying. I'm like, have you seen the first movie? They like him in the first movie, but I don't like him in the second one. I'm like, he's pretty much the same thing. Maybe a little bit more over the top in some ways, but I'm like, so you find him annoying in the second movie, but not really the first one? He's pretty much doing the same shit. I'd
probably have to say part 2 is my least favorite of the Rush Hour movies.
It might be my favorite. I like all the Rush Hour movies a lot. That's my buddy cop franchise.
Mine's Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, and you know, Lethal Weapon is pretty good too. But like Rush Hour is just mine, you know. There you go. I would hold up a copy of the Rush Hour TV show, but it got canceled after one season because like you just can't do it without Jackie and Chris. But yeah, Busta Rhymes, he's so much fun in this movie. He's just entertaining. Like him Kung Fu roundhouse kicking. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, there you go. But Nick, Busta Rhymes
is fucking hysterical. This is the noises he make. Why?
I can't even do it. Busta Rhymes is so great.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, God. Any other pros that you want to talk about?
I don't fucking know, but I just Busta Rhymes for one more minute. Just, goddamn, is he great. He
knows how to swear, too. The funniest scene in the fucking movie.
I'm playing Michael Myers.
Okay, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I showed this to Sean before we started doing this video, but I'm going to do it for you guys anyway. Oh, wait. No, here it is right here. Oh, God. Okay, there we go.
He doesn't have a Michael Myers mask.
No, I don't. They're way too fucking expensive.
I have one. I can't find it, though.
Oh, shit, man. Charlie, where the fuck you been at, man? Don't you looking all over this motherfucker for you? And why the hell you dressed like me anyway? I ain't paying you to be Michael Myers. I'm playing Michael Myers. If them kids come around and see us dressed up in the same shit, you're gonna ruin the whole effect. God damn it. The hell's wrong with you? I said, what you looking at me like that for? Huh? You don't get it? You don't get it? Your shit ain't working up there or something? You need to take your ass in the back of the garage with Nora. That's your job. Go back there with Nora and help her ass out. Go do your job. I left the back door unlocked for your ass to go out the back into the garage. That's what I did. You need to get the hell out of here. Go on, scoot. Skedaddle. Get the fuck out of Dodge. And the icing on the cake, Michael listens. He's holding the knife the whole time. He's just staring at him. And he slowly turns around. He's like, okay then. And it's so goddamn funny.
Why doesn't he try this again? He should put on the mask, get Michael Myers' face, be like, yo, there's another motherfucker in the garage hiding out for you, Michael. Get your shit together. I think that's all you have to do.
I don't know if it was intentionally funny. Or maybe it was. Maybe it was just Busta Rhymes realizing, okay, yeah, this is a shitty movie, but you know what? I'm going to have fun with it. Thank you so much, Busta Rhymes, for doing so. I would have given him a little bit of a bonus in his pay for doing that. Because God damn is he funny in this movie.
Busta knows exactly what movie he's in, and he is like to the full extent. I'm gonna try and find like an image or something because it was there's somebody like did like a thing like for the next Halloween. It was him. And the sequel would have had him and Ronnie together, like LL Cool J from.
Oh, that would have been freaking funny.
And LL Cool J could have made a song.
Fuck me, shit. Not you, baby. Hold on a second. You scared the shit out of me.
Deep as blues. My head is like a shark's fin.
Because I carry a big stick, and I'm the meanest motherfucker in the valley. LL Cool J is kind of an underrated actor.
He is. Like, he's just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, no pun intended. He's usually, like, my favorite thing. Like, H2O, I'm like, I just like LL Cool J. Like, he is it, like, on-screen charisma. The certain actors have it. Like, he has it, like, in on-screen presence where you're just kind of like, that's just a cool dude you just like. Ice Cube sometimes has it. He has it in Anaconda. He doesn't have it in XXX2, State of the Union.
I watched, like, the first half hour of that, and I still haven't watched XXX3. I like to see 3. It's got Donnie Yen in it. I love Donnie Yen. And Tony Jaa.
Saw that in the theaters, my friends. We were dying because they're just like, the terrorist is hiding out. Where's he hiding out in? The one, and they go to a zoom in his location. Fucking Detroit.
Oh, of course it's Detroit.
They end up, oh God, it was, XXX3 was one of the most fun times I had at the theater last year because it was so goddamn stupid. Vin Diesel goes, he takes some skis, he climbs the top of the cell tower, jumps straight down a couple hundred feet, nothing to break his fall, and he just lands and he starts skiing through the jungle on fucking like ice skis.
No more. I need to see this movie now. So anyway, let's get to my pros with Halloween Resurrection. Pro number 1, a lot of the lighting in this movie is really good in my eyes. A lot of it is, there's lots of deep blues, some like street light color yellows. And there's a lot of shadows used. If you watch this movie at night, it gives off kind of a creepy vibe, and I really like that. This is an excellent movie to watch at night, in my eyes. There's, if you ask me, there's only maybe about 5 scenes that take place during the day, and every time it's daylight out, I'm pretty sure it's like cloudy. So, kind of like with part 6. So,
speaking of daytime scenes, one scene that never gets brought up is the scene where those girls are like in their dormitory, and then that one weird, creepy fucking guy comes in and then just starts sniffing their underwear, and he goes, "Ma, Ma." I'm like, what? That's another one. That scene cracks me up too. So I guess maybe they count it.
So yeah, I like the lighting that they use in this movie. Does make it so it gives off a creepy vibe. Pro number 2, I actually like the music score done for this movie. It uses a lot of the Halloween. It uses a lot of Halloween music, but there's also like legitimately creepy music that's made, and that's one of the few things that mainstream critics praise about this movie, because the music score guy for this film actually made original stuff to make the score for this movie sound similar to classic 80s slasher movies. And kudos to him. I like the score for this movie. In some ways, I think it's a little better than the score for... Actually, no. I do think it's better than the score for H2O, because as I said in my previous video, I think a lot of the music for H2O is just generic 90s horror movie music. Here, that's not the case. Yeah.
The score was very different in the original score, but they had to like re-add old scene scores or something like that. If you like listen to there's like a lot of alternate scores because it just didn't work for the movie.
Let's see.
So it's a lot of generic stuff.
Pro number 3, we've already talked about him enough. Busta Rhymes is so fucking funny. I actually recommend watching this movie based purely on... Okay, if you want to watch H2O for Jamie Lee Curtis, watch Ressurection for Busta Rhymes. God damn, is he funny.
Oh, he is. He's so good. Like, he brings the entertainment value to this movie.
Well, aside from one other character, and let's move on to that. Pro number 4, Michael Myers in this movie is a mean son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
I will go on a record, prior to the Rob Zombie movies, this is Michael Myers at his most badass and his most threatening. I said that about part 4. Actually, I'd probably go say part 4 and part 8 are nearly tied. But whereas 4 takes the spectacle and the just sheer scope of Michael Myers' rampage, here we get the brutality and meanness of Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, is it glorious to watch. Part 4, Michael Myers, if I saw him, I'd still run away. But I would fucking sprint away if I saw Ressurection Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, his mask is a lot better in this movie than it is in part 7. The main mask they use in H2O, I do still like. But this mask, he wears a much angrier looking mask in this movie. Dr. Wolferless says it looks like it looks just like a dude wearing makeup, but he also gets a Bruce Jenner vibe from it, which I don't get. But I like Michael Myers' mask in this movie. It's a lot more mean. It's a lot more intimidating. It's a lot more threatening. And overall, Myers himself, the actor playing Mike, I think is a little more beefier than the guy who played him in H2O, which I do like. They make it a good balance of him being big, having his arms be big, but also giving him his height. Though I think this version of Mike is a little shorter than he was in H2O, but still, you have the brutal nature of Michael Myers for this performance. So that is awesome. Michael is awesome. And that leads me into pro number let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 is that the kills in this movie kick ass. Probably some of my favorite kills in the entire series. They're violent, they're gory, they add themselves to the scares too, like when Bill, one of the dudes from American Pie, gets stabbed in the head. He's looking into a mirror. Mike bursts out of the fucking mirror and just starts slashing the dude in his chest and finally kills him by stabbing him in the head.
Yep, Rookie of the Year kid. Pitcher's got a big butt. Pitcher's got a... Oh, God! Dead.
It's quite the earth-shattering experience, wasn't it, for him?
Well, it was glass-shattering.
And I guess you could say he really had a face that could shatter a mirror.
Well, I guess he's got 7 years of bad luck.
No, Mike does, because he technically broke the mirror.
That's true, because the 7 years of bad luck ended with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which was a bad movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie. Anyway.
Well, I do.
Anyway, so with that's a great jump scare moment because you're not expecting Michael Myers to come busting out of the fucking mirror to stab this dude. When Mike appears out of nowhere to decapitate the chick, that's a great scare moment because you're not expecting him to come out. And also that kill is awesome. When Donna gets impaled, it's a pretty gut-wrenching scene to watch because the sound effect they used as the spike is stabbing into her, it's pretty hard to listen to. Overall, the kills in this movie kick a lot of ass. Though, in my opinion, the weakest one probably is Laurie Strode's death. I just think it was stupid.
I just hate that death in general.
Though, another kill that also makes me laugh is when... Oh, God, what was his name? The cook dude. I can't remember his name.
Oh, that's right. The guy who... I just watched this movie yesterday, Mike.
The other black guy. Okay, I'll just call him that. The other black guy. The look on his face when he's impaled with the two knives through the wall, it cracks me up every time. And the sound he makes, too. Ah! And the noises he makes. And when he's slashing at Michael with those two knives, the shit that he says just cracks me up. Well, some of this, huh? You like sushi, motherfucker? Huh?
Dude, only Busta Rhymes can do this.
That's probably why Mike kills him. Only Busta Rhymes can be the funny black guy.
OBG. That's all he is. Because all he was doing was obsessed with food. That was his character quirk. It's like, I'm the food guy. But nobody ever eats his food.
Oh, God. So, yeah, the kills are pretty good in this movie. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And finally, pro number 6. The last 40 minutes of this movie are overall pretty solid. If you want, they're pretty entertaining, somewhat suspenseful, somewhat scary, pretty action-packed. No complaints with the last 40 minutes. You know, the first 50 minutes or so, you can kind of take it or leave it. I take it because I like this movie. But the last 40 minutes is when the movie really gets good, in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But with all that said, let's move on to the cons. How many cons do you have?
I didn't write how many I did.
I have 6.
Track.
Ironically, I have 6 pros and 6 cons.
I don't know how many cons I have, so I'm just going to go over what I don't like about the movie. The
First
fact
act.
that it exists. So con number 1, the fact that it exists after the ending of H2O. It was unnecessary. The whole dumb Michael Myers switching with the paramedic makes no sense whatsoever. So you mean tell me he dressed the guy up, the guy goes into a body bag, and if you watch H2O, he legit tries to kill Laurie Strode. He's trying to kill her. He gets out of the body bag. Why he doesn't take the mask off, I don't know. Unless he suffered severe brain damage, but they just say his larynx got cut, like not necessarily everything. He should have just taken the mask off. He should have just taken it off. Like, look, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. fucking stupid. It just completely like kind of retcons the ending to the last movie.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really stupid. Next con, the death of Laurie Strode. What a complete disservice to this character. You mean to tell me the person they did to her what they did to Jamie in Halloween 6? Exactly. Go ahead, lift that middle finger up one more time just for this scene. Both middle fingers at the same time. One for Jamie and one for Laurie. The characters we followed, the ones we were supposed to root for, get killed within the first act of the movie. And they're never really brought up again. Laurie's death has no impact on the rest of the plot. It's almost like a completely separate movie altogether.
Kind of has Sinister 2 syndrome a little bit.
What syndrome?
Sinister 2 syndrome.
I never saw Sinister 2.
I'll explain later.
One. Yeah. But the fact that Laurie, and it really undermines her intelligence too. It's like, it's really someone else, not me, Michael Myers, who's just literally busting down the door trying to kill you. Why would Laurie fall for that? Why wouldn't she be like, okay, take your mask off, it's really not you? And then she dies. So the character we're supposed to root for just dies. Why should I care about the rest of your movie? You killed the main star of your franchise outside of Michael Myers. You killed our hero. And they don't even have an honorable death either. It's just like, it's almost like Jamie Lee Curtis just gave up at that point. She's like, fuck it, do whatever, I'm done.
That kind of was her attitude regarding this film.
Mm-hmm. But now she's going to be back for the new one. I can't wait to see what she does there.
She's badass.
Like, I'm sure she is.
Jamie Lee Curtis with a Winchester rifle. Count me the fuck in.
Yep. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like Laurie's death has no significance whatsoever to the rest of this movie. It's never brought up again. It's almost like something else entirely. It's just like, well, let's just end Laurie's thing. We'll move in the direction of new characters who we haven't had a chance to get introduced to. They're very boring. They're very generic. Outside of Busta Rhymes, every one of the new characters sucks. I don't care about any of them. They don't have like the right personality. Their quirks are annoying. They're all like, oh, I'm the one guy who blah, 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 psychology major. And the one girl's like, I'm the smart one, blah, 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 blah. Let's fuck on camera. I don't care about any of these things. Another con, the fact that we don't see Tyra Banks get killed off in the movie was such a, like, it's Tyra Banks. Come on, if you have a celebrity in a movie, you have the chance to kill them off.
I haven't seen Tyra Banks in anything except for this movie.
Well, she's TV and what's that movie, Life Size, where she's with Lindsay Lohan? I think that's the only other movie, but she had like her own show and stuff. But like, do something with it. You know what I mean? Next con, the cliffhanger ending, I think is really bad because we never got a follow up to this movie. Never have. We never will. I don't understand the point in doing this. Mustafa Akkad, I think he's the reason like the Halloween franchise got run into the ground because he was always just constantly like,
how can I make the next sequel?
What was that?
He's always like, how can I make the next sequel while the sequel's being made?
It's like, Mustafa, I understand you want the money. You can make money off merchandising and all that stuff, but tell a good story. That's what brings people. That's why the first Halloween did so well because it was well executed. I know Nick doesn't like it, but it connected with a lot of audiences.
Not me.
Including myself. I love the first Halloween.
I don't.
No, not me. I don't.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Boy.
You man. Stupid man.
Oh, that's from Hook. Okay, gotcha. Good movie.
See? Yeah, I'm trying to think some of the other cons. I hate the characters. Kind of this is like I said, the characters are all really dumb. There's that like the camera guy who's just like high angles, cool, low angles, scary, mid angles, boring.
Charlie.
He just kind of lets Michael. What? Oh yeah, Charlie, where the fuck you at?
That gets rammed with Michael's metal rod.
He deep throats Michael's metal rod.
God damn it! Fuck you!
Oh man, the puns or whatever. Hey, it worked.
To quote Jack, "Oh my God, the puns!"
We need Jack's laugh again. You should have seen him on his stream the other day. He was I asked him to do like an evil laugh, and he was doing it. KPF joined the stream as soon as he was like, "Is Jack having a breakdown?"
Oh, poor KPF. Is that all the cons you have to list off? I have 6.
It should have been made. The direct, like, the suspense isn't there. It's not very scary. The ending sucks. I think I pretty much said all I need to say in terms of cons. It's just kind of a bit of everything just kind of spread out through the movie. It's very dated.
Yes.
Which in some ways can work to its favor, but there's just a lot of dumb shit. Some of it's fun, some of it's just annoying.
Anyway,
I just hate the disservice it did to Lori. And,
yes. Okay, so con number 1 for me, yes, you're right. Aside from Busta Rhymes, the rest of the cast is just boring as fuck. They're worse than the cast from H2O because whereas with H2O, they're not necessarily acted bad and they're not really annoying. They just don't do much. Here, they're acted bad. They're annoying. They're also boring. You have the boring final girl who is sweet and innocent. You have her annoying, ditzy, fame-crazed, internet-crazed best friend. Oh, my God. This chick gets decapitated. So glad when she died. You had the food-obsessed guy. Well, she didn't seem like a bad guy. He was just a little ditzy. There was the smart-ass, smart girl who I found to be pretty condescendingly annoying, too. There's the horny jock douche.
Actress? She did get kidnapped. Did you hear about that?
Huh?
The so-called smart girl, like there was a story where she did, like, I think it was like more recently, she did get kidnapped. I mean, obviously she was found in, but she did get abducted, which is kind of a crazy thing. So
there's the horny jock douche who is just so full of himself, it's not even funny. It's the rest of the human.
Was he the leather jacket dude?
Yeah.
Was he really a jock, or was he just like kind of like one of those like?
I call him a jock just for the hell of it. So yeah, the rest of the human cast.
Jack, as in jackass.
Fine.
Then Thomas Ian Nichols from American Pie.
Yeah, he's the horny. I want to fuck this guy, dude, or this chick. Excuse me. Whatever, you know what I mean. The rest of the human cast is just really boring. They're ditzy. They're stupid. They're annoying. They're just there to be killed off. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Con number 2, once again, I think this movie's too short. Not nearly as bad as H2O because H2O is 86 minutes. This one's 93 minutes. At least I think it is.
No, it was when I watched the other day, it was literally like just under the hour and a half.
Oh, well then, okay, then I guess it's still too short. I would have liked to get a little more time to explore Michael's new home that he made for himself.
Yeah.
So I think if this movie was another 10 minutes longer, I'd be happy. Or happier. Con number 3.
Extra footage.
Huh?
There was deleted scenes, extra footage.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Con number 3 is that this movie is clearly a cash grab on Scream, H2O, and the Blair Witch Project. I'll get to that in just a minute.
Well, here's the thing too. Like I mentioned this in my H2O review I did. Isn't it weird what's going on with that where they play Scream 2 inside of H2O when Halloween exists in the Scream world? Is it like in Last Action Hero when Arnold goes into the video store and instead of him being on T2, it's really Sylvester Stallone?
I already discussed that in my H2O review, so let's just leave that out of H2O for now.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it.
But once again, this movie also does have. Well, yeah, this movie overall, it's a clear cash grab. It's the filmmakers' attempt to just milk this cow for as much money as they can, and it screams of being a cash grab, almost as much as Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to another thing that they try to cash in on, the Blair Witch Project elements really stick out like a sore thumb. I get the feel. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it was the filmmakers wanting to do something different. Here, I just like the various cameras throughout the. Okay, the head cams I find them to be the acceptable ones. It's the cameras set up throughout the house that I find to be a little excessive. Partially because they don't really amount to much. I just feel like they're shoved in. But still, the Blair Witch Project elements feel really forced, not very well executed. Introducing it this late into the franchise, it just doesn't work. I'm sorry. The Blair Witch elements really need to go. Con number 4 is the bullshit cliffhanger ending. Why? I know that they had more sequels planned, but just why?
They even had a contest.
That was it. I mean, it's also the lamest slasher movie ending where you think he's finally dead, but in the morgue, he comes back to life. There's a lot of slasher movies that have done that in the past. And there's also some slasher movie remakes where that happened. One that comes to mind for me is the Black Christmas remake, where the killers, they think they're dead, but they come back to life for another extended 15-minute ending until they finally get killed. So yeah, the bullshit cliffhanger ending, it's really forced. It's really stupid. You see it coming from a mile away. It's also more frustrating because we never got a resolution to this resurrection ending. And finally, con number 6 is this movie shitting on Laurie Strode's character arc in H2O. Very lazily done. Very just. It feels like the filmmakers were rushing to. Then again, I feel like it's partially Jamie Lee Curtis. Well, I'm not saying she's to blame, but I feel like it's partially Jamie Lee Curtis's decision because she did want the series to end with H2O, but the studio said, nah, we're legally bound to make sequels. And Jamie Lee Curtis was like, fine, then I'm dying in the beginning. Fuck it. Kill me off.
It's a shame what they did to Danielle Harris, too.
Yes.
She could have carried a franchise.
She could have, yeah.
I really wish we would have gotten a movie with her and Danielle Harris and Jamie Lee Curtis together.
That would have been great. It reveals that, at least 1, 2, and 4 were canon with H2O, so we could have gotten a future movie where Laurie finally reunites with Danielle Harris.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been amazing. Would have been a really touching reunion as they team up to take down as they team up to take down Michael Myers. That would have been spectacular. But no.
Yeah, and then it would have been interesting because you would have found out that she had a sibling too. Could have formed a sibling connection, like a family reunion type deal. Just something.
Yep. So yeah, this movie does shit on Laurie Strode's character. It's potentially the biggest problem with this movie, aside from the forced Blair Witch elements. It's really debatable, but overall, yeah. So this movie, final thoughts on Halloween Resurrection. It's very flawed. It's clear that it's just trying to be a cash grab. It's clear that the Mustafa Akkad was just trying to milk this cow for as much as he could. And it showed enough signs of wear and tear for the series to be canceled and retooled, to quote Dr. Wolfula, somewhat. Even though I wish we could have gotten at least one more sequel to kind of wrap up this series on a better note. But despite all this movie's flaws, I still do find this to be an underrated film. I do enjoy it quite a bit. Would I call it one of my favorite Halloween movies? I'm not sure, to be 100% honest. Because I really like this movie, but at the same time, there's a lot of things in this movie that I really don't like. But with all that being said, my final rating for Halloween Resurrection will be the same as H2O, a 7.5 out of 10. Hate me all you want. Believe me, I know why this movie is flawed. I just explained why. but I still like this movie. It's entertaining for what it is. What are your final thoughts on the film, Sean?
Halloween Resurrection. The only entertaining bits really for me, as I stated, Busta Rhymes it's a guilty pleasure movie for me. I know it's not very good. There's a lot of problems with it. It was very unnecessary. It doesn't have to exist at all. It's really the less is more approach should have been done with the series. I mean, I understand they want to make money. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. I mean, they make movies to make money. I mean, a lot of people want to tell good stories, which is an important factor into making successful films. But at the same time, sometimes you got to do the cash grabs to, fill your pockets. And I understand that. That's why studios release like a lot of crappy movies a year. It's like, look, we don't have faith in this thing, but we need to make some money. We can't all just do like, our award-worthy films. We have to do some things.
I prefer movies that aren't award-winning, honestly.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like, it could be an MTV award or something, like a fan award. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, not everything has to be like super high-class entertainment. They put up some schlock there for, to make a quick buck. And I understand that. But when you have a good out for your franchise, you might as well go out on a high note. And Halloween Resurrection didn't do that. In fact, like, I used to hate this movie more until we got the announcement of the new Halloween movie because they're bringing back, Laurie Strode. Of course, they're retconning most of the movies.
Yes.
Out of existence. Pretty much all of them except the first one.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I'll have to judge when I see it because I'm so used to Laurie being Michael's sister. But yeah, like we never got a follow up to this thing, and that still kind of disappoints me because I thought there was a lot of potential, and then we went straight into the zombie films.
Those masterpieces.
The movie still isn't, if you think that,
being legitimately serious.
If you think that, that's fine. But with this film, it's still, upon rewatching, it's meh, except for Busta Rhymes. So, which is why I don't despise this movie, because I do have some nostalgia for it. I think I'm very torn on what to give this thing. Maybe the highest possible rating I can give for this film, 4.5 to 5 out of 10. Shit, I'm not sure where I want to go. 4.5 or 5.
Just give it a 5.
I'll be nice. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's meh. It's below average.
Do I think it's the worst of the franchise? Absolutely not.
No. That would be The Curse of Michael Myers.
Well, I think it's the original, but yeah, The Curse of Michael Myers is horrendous.
Curse of Michael.
So bad.
Did you see my review on that one that I did?
I think I did, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, I got to wrap this up.
Yes.
So, with all that being said, post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. I still have my sunglasses. Fuck. Do I? No, I don't.
Yep. Thanks for having me on this one. I've got a much shorter Halloween Resurrection review coming out on Monday.
Well, I still look forward to it. Yeah, post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share us there with your friends. Look forward in a few days when I tackle the extremely contentious Rob Zombie duology of Halloween movies. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Check out Sean's channel.
Thanks.